Hey peeps, it's your boy Atto from Savvy Wallet. You know what it is. How's the week going? So the weather's been great this week. Haven't given you a weather update in a little while. So I got a request from some of you to talk more about getting onto the property ladder as a first time buyer. So in this video, I want to talk about 7 things that I think that you need to do or need to prepare for before you can think about buying your first property. Because in my case, if I didn't do some of these things, I don't think I would have bought my property in the time that I did. So I'm really speaking from experience here. So before we get into the video, as always, make sure to join the Savvy Wallet team by hitting the subscribe button below, and also support your boy. Hit that like button as well. It's really appreciated, and it will really help the channel, and it will really help it get to other people who are interested in content like this. Okay, so let's get into this video. I'm really excited to talk to you about property because going on this journey is so fun. Okay, so the first thing that you really need to prepare for, or need to prepare before you get onto the property ladder, well, it's not like a must, but you really should have a lifetime ISA as a first time buyer. The reason being because you are essentially getting 25% free from the government up to a maximum of £1,000. Now I talk about this in 2 videos of mine, ISAs Explained and how I saved 25,000 to buy my first property. So I'll link one of those videos above, and I'll link both of them in the description below. So make sure to go and check out those videos if you haven't watched it, because it's got a little bit more details around that. Some people have a Help to Buy ISA, which is just as useful. But like I said, you're getting 1,000 free. That's like me saying, I will give you £1,000 so long as you save 4,000 every year. And you're basically saying no to me if you don't have that lifetime ISA. So go and get your lifetime ISA. That is the first thing that you really need to get sorted, because you can't even use it straight away. You have to have had it for at least 1 year. So plan ahead. Even if you don't have the money to put anything in there, you can open it with £1 and let the clock start ticking. The second one's obvious, right? Earn an income. You need to be earning an income for you to get on the property ladder. So you need to earn an income before and during the whole property process, because usually what they will do is they're going to want pay slips from you to be able to assess how much they can lend you. Now, if you are a permanent employee, they usually can lend between 4.5 to sometimes 5 times how much you earn. It's not so easy to get the 5 times. You need to get a really good mortgage broker to do that. Now, if you are a contractor, it's a little bit tougher to get a property, because some banks want to see at least 2 to 3 years account. So you need to figure out like how you're going to be earning your income, whether it's as a permanent or as a contractor. And if you are a contractor, see what banks are out there that will lend to you, so that you know how long that you will need to be contracting for before you can actually get onto the property ladder. All these things really do affect you, which is why you need to plan, people, plan. The third thing is get your credit report in shape. You see, the thing that I find with people is that they really don't care about their credit score. They don't care about their credit report until it's time to have to use it for something like a house, get a credit card, loan. No, you should be doing this consistently, because at the same time, when you want to get a property, do you think they're going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to give you a year to get your credit report in shape? No, they want to know it right then and there. So you have to prepare yourself with years of work for it to not be in bad shape. So try and avoid having things like CCJs, defaults, missed payments, stuff like that, because that doesn't look good to the lender. Now you're telling me, right, that if I lent you money, right, or if you lent me money, let's switch it. If you lent me money and I didn't pay you back, would I be able to borrow money from you again? No, I wouldn't, because you wouldn't be able to trust me. So that's how you have to see it, right? It's a position of trust. Now, I'm not saying that if you have those things that it's going to be impossible for you to get onto the property ladder, because that's not true. There are always ways to get yourself around these things. There are always loopholes that you can get around. But why make your life harder when it could be so much easier? It's so difficult already getting onto the property ladder. Why are you going to make it more difficult with something that you can avoid and something that you are actually in control of. And the other benefit of having a really good credit report is that you're going to have better rates, which makes you save money more in the long term because the banks essentially see you as less risky. So think about that. That's food for thought for you to think about. The fourth thing that I think that you need to prepare for, or like really take a look at and try and manage, is your debt. So I'll be honest, when I bought my property about a year ago, I had debts on my credit card. I'm not gonna front, I had debts on my credit card, but it wasn't so much where it was to the point where they were like, they're not gonna lend it to me. They could still lend it to me because my debts were less than 10% of what my salary was. But the thing was that they took that debt away from how much they could loan me, because essentially I had to pay that debt. So they add that to your expenses. So that is something that you have to calculate. It's not only just your normal expenses, they're also checking to see if you've got all these debts. So if you've got tens of £1,000s of debts, it's really going to hamper you getting a mortgage. So this really does help you. So again, I've got a video talking about how I got out of debt. Make sure to go and check that video just to help yourself reduce your debt a little bit. And also I have a video where I talk about improving your credit score. So 6 tips that will help you improve your credit score. So check that out too. It's all related, people. It's all related. Personal finance, all of this is related. It's not in isolation. So that's why you have to be on top of it. The fifth thing that I think that you need to prepare for, and this is probably one of the most important things out of this whole list, your deposit. You need to decide how much you need to save. There's no point having like an aimless target of I'm just going to keep on saving. You could be saving for 100 years and you're not going to get there. You need to be able to know how much you need to save to buy the property of your dream, so that when you do start house hunting, you can make an offer because you've got that deposit there. There's no point trying to house hunt saying you're going to make an offer and then you don't have the deposit, because they're going to ask you for that. They're going to ask for proof of that deposit. So again, I've got a video, I think I talked about it earlier, of how I saved 25,000 to buy my first property. So make sure to go and check that out, just to give you a bit of guidance on how you can do it. And your deposit could be whatever you want depending on what your requirements are. The sixth thing that I think that you need to prepare for. All right, okay, some of you might be early in your journey of getting onto the property ladder, but that shouldn't stop you from dreaming about where you want to move to, or where you want to live, or where you want to buy, right? So it's always good having a list of places that you are going to think about buying in the future. And you know, you could put this into different tiers. You could have like your high expensive tier, you could have your mid tier, and you could have your cheap tier. The reason why it's good to do this, because it will give you an understanding firstly of how much deposit that you will need to save for properties in these different areas. So usually it's about 10% for first time buyers as well. Sometimes you can get 5%. Right now, the 5% deals are just a myth. You're probably not going to be able to get any. So really try and save 10% as well. It's going to make your life so much easier. The second reason is not to shoot down your dreams. Look, I got my dreams shot down. I wanted to live in a really nice fancy area at one point. Then I realized I couldn't afford the new builds or even the old builds 2-bedroom apartments. So I was like, okay, I've got to move out further out. So it will give you a realization if you can afford to live in that place or not. There's no point of trying to say, yeah, I want to live in Baker Street, if you're not going to be able to afford that place in an appropriate timeline. There's just no point. So it will help you narrow down your list as well. So it's a fun thing to do, to house hunt, to look at different houses in different areas, and to look at what's a good price as well. The third reason why you should build up a list is by the time that you have saved your deposit, then you'll have a list of places that you can start house hunting and start viewing immediately. This is what I did. I started looking for houses like 1 to 2 years before I wanted to purchase. And then when I had my deposit, I started looking in those same areas and I was like, okay, I can afford here, I can't afford there, I can go and view here, I can view there. And it helped the process so much more because I had an understanding. I did my research of the value and the house prices in those areas. Now, the seventh tip is, and it's a really important one as well, decide if you want to use the government help schemes. So the help to buy loan, shared ownership, and see if that is going to be suitable for you. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because with these schemes, you don't have to save as much of a deposit. You can actually save less of a deposit and you can get onto the property ladder quicker. And also with these schemes, most of them are new builds. So some people really want to live in a new build. Some people don't mind. For me personally, I did want to live in a new build apartment, and at one point I was like, okay, you know what? This is just too expensive. I wanted to live in this nice, swanky 2-bed apartment. I was like, oh, this is too much. It's too much money. So I was just like, that wasn't part of my priorities. I wanted to get on something that was good value, that was to get me onto the property ladder, and that where I could grow my capital over the years. And I thought a house was better value, and I couldn't really afford a new build house in a nice area. So I had to settle for something else, but it still was in one of my preferred areas on the list. So this is something that you need to decide very early on, because it will help you plan and it will help you decide how much your deposit is going to be, help you decide how much you can get from the government, how much you need to get from a mortgage, and it will literally, tie things together for you. But needless to say, that apartment that I was talking about, it sold over the weekend. So some people really, really are adamant about new builds. And if that's you, make sure to check the government schemes and to see what's out there, because you could really get onto the property ladder quicker. All right, people, that was everything that I wanted to talk to you about today. I'll be talking a little bit more about properties. I'll be talking about other fees as well. I'll be talking about the process, so how I went through the process and what it was like. It's not as daunting as you think it is, but there are a few pitfalls and steps that you need to follow to help save yourself some money and headaches. Trust me, I've learned so much from going through that process that when I do go through this process in future, I'm going to be a lot more clued up. Now, this list isn't exhaustive, but I hope that this has provided you with value and will help you on your first home purchasing experience. It's a fun journey. Like, just enjoy it when you do get there. Enjoy saving for your deposit. Enjoy looking at houses. Enjoy dreaming. Like, why not? Like, at the end of the day, this is a journey, and don't rush it. There's no rush to get onto the property ladder. As long as you are able to get there, you'll be happy. All right? Trust me on that. It's a fun journey. Don't get hung up on how long it takes you to get to that journey, and don't compare yourself to others as well. There's no point of doing that, because your journey is different to somebody else's journey, and you have different priorities to somebody else, and you have different goals to somebody else. So just treat it like that. You set your own goals and you get to where you need to get to on your own timeline. All right, it's been great speaking to you. As always, hit the subscribe button below. Support your boy by hitting that like button as well. And have a great weekend. It's been great speaking to you. Thanks for watching.